Hello everyone, this is Seher Rashmeen and I welcome you all to another episode of Ivy Talks. Today we are joined by our two most prestigious alumni and we are going to be having a small chit chat with them about where they are in their life right now and what have they been doing since then. Assalamu alaikum. So this is Shehroz Mazhar and Fatma Beg. So I would like to know from both of you, what did you study in Roots, Ivy, and what have you been doing since then?
So it's going to be a 20-year plus journey, so I'll try and be as quick as I can.
Okay.
But basically, I came to Roots in 2004 to do my A-levels. So I completed my A-levels in 2006. And then I continued on with Ma'am Khadija, who convinced me to start this University of London International program, which was fairly new at the time.
Okay.
I think I was the second or third batch.
Yeah, it was new, at that time.
So that's what I did. I did my bachelor's in economics and finance. So that took us to 2009. And straight after graduating, I stayed on as a teacher. So I used to be quite good with academics, and Ma'am Khadija used to really like the way I used to explain things, especially concepts of economics, which was, very much a favorite subject as well. So I used to be a teaching assistant. I used to teach A-level students, undergrad students as well as a teaching assistant. So I did all of that for a little over 1 year, and then I went to the UK to pursue my master's. Went to the University of Warwick. I did a master's in international financial economics from there, and then I changed course a little bit, turned in towards accountancy, became a chartered accountant, pursued a career with Deloitte's over there. Then I moved on to Citibank, spent another 7-8 years at Citibank, recently moved from there as a senior vice president in internal audit, and then I've most recently joined a company as their chief audit officer. It's owned by the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia, and that's where I am right now.
Okay.
I graduated from E-levels. I spent like good 2 years. Ma'am ke saath, I spent a lot of time with her because I used to work with her as well. While I was doing my studies, she used to manage my timetable in a way that I could spend 2 to 3 hours in her office as well. And I think that was my prime time of growing as a person. After graduating from Roots, I went to Germany for my undergrad. Ma'am would see that I was perhaps not selling myself too well, and she thought that I could do much better in life than I thought I can. So I secured 50% scholarship at IUBH School of Business and Management, and I did my aviation management. It's a university known for aviation, specialized in aviation. So I did that for 3 years. Amidst of it, I also went to Canada for an internship with International Air Transport Association. So I spent around 7-8 months in Montreal, Canada, at their headquarters, and yes, that was also very good. I still remember I would share everything with her, all my achievements and success, and she would be so happy. And I still remember I brought back a mug of Ayata for her, and she used to put it on her table, and every time I used to visit her, it used to be there. After that, I went, once I graduated, I came back to Pakistan for a bit to figure out what I want to do with my life. And then Ma'am actually set us up. So yeah, Ma'am actually set us up.
Okay, so she was behind. She was the Cupid.
Yes,
she played Cupid.
Yes, my fairy godmother in many ways.
Okay.
But yes, in this regard as well, she was the fairy godmother, and she got us together. And then I went to at the time I think we only got Nigard, and then I went for my masters at the University of Leeds. I did international business management over there. After that, we settled down in London, and after spending a year at Leeds University, we settled down in London, and then I started off my career in the wealth industry. So I started investment consulting. It's an investment consulting primarily where I started as a grad. Then I just did investment consulting for so many years. I'm an investment manager by profession, and it's just I spent some time over there, and then I changed places. But primarily, yes, that's what I do. Recently, we have moved to Riyadh, so I had to resign for my husband. I'm currently unemployed, I would say, but it's not. But it's by choice. Yeah, in the middle of all of it, we had two lovely children, and we named them Shamir and Mustafa, and I've been taking care of them as well. And that's about it.
Okay, so that is actually a combination of a very beautiful and lustrous career for both of them. And I would now try to, dig a little deeper in how was your, basically the school, the environment, the university life. How was that? What was basically different in Roots Ivy that you now think you wouldn't have found somewhere else for both of you in your different capacities? Because I know you were doing your university and you were doing your A levels, two different time frames. So what was so special about Roots Ivy?
Yeah, I'll start maybe chime in. So I think it's the personal touch. So you can always find a good institution. There are others as well, but it's not just academics and the quality of the education that you get. In fact, a lot of institutions have the same teachers, even because they're all visiting faculty, or most of them are visiting faculty. But it's the personal touch that I was very lucky to have, from the administration here at the time, and also under the oversight of Ma'am Khadija at the time, which is why I stayed, because I was very good with academics. So I had offers from all the other universities, including the top tier ones in the country. But I always wanted to go abroad, and this, I think, the University of London program was tailor-made for that. So financially, I couldn't afford going abroad, and I was not able to secure a scholarship at the place where I wanted to be at the time, Doctor UK University at the time. So this was the best solution for me, because it gave me the sort of personal touch. I knew that management and the administration here is going to support me in everything I do, and of course the academic quality was also there. So it was the perfect combination from that perspective, I think.
And what about you, Fatma?
So I think that I wasn't one of the brightest academically. I wasn't one of this league. Of course, I had my aims. That is not where I'm going. Where I'm going is that I was not someone who was was so underconfident in ways that the self-belief was missing. And I feel that this institution, because I was in another institution as well before coming to Roots, and I feel that this institution gives you self-belief, it gives you self-confidence, it gives you direction. Everybody more or less has motivation, especially the A-level kids, the BSc kids. They have the motivation, they are inspired from someone or in some ways. But I feel that what Ma'am Khadija gave and what she trained her administration to pass on was direction. Like she would know that what kid is capable of what. She would individually recognize, she would have that eye that this kid is capable of this. And she would make sure that she would go to any lengths and breadths to make sure that her children are really able to achieve what they are capable of, what they haven't even dreamt of. She would make them dream. She would sit down with them, she would explore, and she would ask, and she would take interest, and she would take it out of them. And that is how I feel that I do not think that I would have been anywhere without her, because she had so much insight into my life and into my capabilities. She just polished me into a diamond, honestly. I feel that I am so grateful in a way that I do not think that people are so invested in children like that.
Yeah.
She was invested thoroughly. And it works like a family. You feel at home. I know that, I spent 10 years in this institution that I did my own levels from. But what Roots gave me in those 2 to 3 years, I can perhaps never ever forget. I just changed my life, course of my life altogether. And kids these days, I feel, are not that focused, and Ma'am Khadija used to make sure integrator and a figurator. She would even send children to universities abroad, at the best universities abroad, who weren't able to perhaps secure that grades as well. But perhaps they were good in football, or perhaps they were good in drama, or perhaps they had interest in arts, or they had any other interest that could get them to places that they perhaps dreamt of.
Yes, I can actually relate that. Yeah, she was like that. She would make sure that she does not discriminate. And I feel that even after leaving, I've talked to so many alumni that she had that impact. She had that impact on their lives. And she worked really hard till the last minute, till the student was leaving, and then stayed in touch. Stayed in touch, asking if you need something, and always, just, vouching you, and also setting her students up, be acting the Cupid like for a lot of students.
She said she could see things. She had the foresight.
Yeah, she had.
Things that we couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I absolutely went with her advice.
And you must be glad now that she was there. So, okay, so now I would like to now ask about, we're aware that this kind of studies that you have done, I would like to first address the University of London studies. Of course, people have this fear that it's difficult. Where are they going to go in the future with this degree, and how relevant it is, in our country. Like, people still have those kind of doubts, even though it's been like 2 decades now since these degrees are being offered, and people still have doubts about O and A levels. There's like a huge, people, part of the country that thinks like that. So I would like you to shed some light on the importance and the benefit of having an international degree from whichever qualification. Like right now, Roots is offering a lot of international qualifications, so that, and how how progression is more guaranteed if you are in your own country but with an international degree or international qualification. And you also did an international qualification, so I think you can also add to it how it benefited you in your country, or can benefit actually.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look around us, we're living in a country, right? So it makes absolute sense for you to pursue something that is more international than something that makes you live in your own box, right? And this is what you get, I think, from an international program, right? Like the ones that are offered here. Now, in terms of the quality of education, it was second to none. And I can attest to that because after my undergrad, I went abroad and I competed with the best of Europe, at least, of the world, right? When I was pursuing a master's, and it was one of the toughest master's degrees out there in the economics department, co-led by the Business School of Warwick, I was competing with graduates from Cambridge, Oxford, area, you name it, European universities, and a few folks from the US also who pursue a master's in the UK. And I was second to none. And all of that came from the solid foundation that I had from my, let's say, A levels, but more so my undergrad degree, which was the UOL program that I did here. Now, we had studied things that a lot of other people had not studied in Europe. So I thought I was better at maths, for example, based on my foundation from a UOL degree, than a lot of other people from other places. So that's the quality of education that we had. Of course, that quality comes at a price, so it is hard. You have to work a bit hard, and you have to be diligent and persistent and perseverant, and that is how things are in life. You have to struggle for the best outcomes. So yes, you need to be a bit disciplined, you need to work hard, but to be honest, it's more being disciplined than working hard, because I don't see it as rocket science. I think you just have to have a bit of a schedule, you have to plan things, and you have to find your own strengths. You can't excel in every single thing, nobody can. So you find your strengths, you focus on those areas, you try and cover your weaknesses, you get to an outcome that's desirable, and then you do what you can with that.
Especially as education has gotten so expensive abroad, unfortunately how the exchange rates are not working in our favor anymore. I feel this is the best gift that ma'am could just give, bringing the international education from Pakistan. And from such good
Yeah.
And also the Ma'am Khadija really put Pakistan onto the map education-wise, and Roots is now recognized around the world.
Yeah.
It has become so popular amongst the big universities. I think the best, it is really, she made it accessible basically, that anyone who dreams can really do a degree from an international university, right? And especially now that it is a world of LinkedIn, it adds to your profile so much that if you have a degree, even if you are in Pakistan, and if after graduation you found yourself in a way that you want to experience the world outside of Pakistan and you want to move out, or even if you do not, the qualification, the letterhead of your graduation certificate matters a lot. It holds a lot of value, you know. So I think it's very lucky for students. We were perhaps not that lucky, as we had limited opportunities in our time. Perhaps I think what in your time it was more accounts and finance and economics, right?
Yeah,
They
we
were-
had limited options.
Limited options.
Of
But
course, we
now
didn't have
it's-
this lovely campus.
Yeah.
So we started off small. And
Yeah.
we moved
From that one corridor, we started from that one corridor over there in that
we used to
campus.
play
Table tennis over there, yeah.
Or the campus in Lahore, the red brick one.
Yeah,
It's
very
lovely.
beautiful.
I think it's
Yeah.
a state of art.
Yeah.
So now, and especially, and I would also recommend that children should try to explore themselves and not be scared of the niche degrees that one has also got. It is not important for everyone to be doing economics and accounts and finance. There's so much more.
This is really important because yes, people are always afraid of, going ahead with the niche degrees.
I
Yeah.
did not do a very conventional degree. Mine was rather unconventional. It was aviation management. I was the only one in my course, or perhaps one above me and one after me. as
Even the
well.
industry is very male dominated.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's very, and perhaps there are not many universities who offer
No.
tourism management. Of course, engineering has been there forever. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that don't be afraid in exploring areas that not many explore, or paths that perhaps not many have followed. Make your own path. You will get there. You must. You should, because I think life is twice the fun if you really like doing what. When I started off younger in my career and everything, people used to say, "Oh, you really need to like your job. You really need to wake up motivated." And not many people are that lucky, but I feel it is in your hand. It is. So start off well, so you finish off well as well.
That's true. That's true. So I think I would just like you both to, add a little about a very fond memory of you had with Ma'am Khatija individually, and maybe a message for the Roots Ivy family, and something for the Roots Ivy to take a lesson from. For the students, for the teachers, for everybody who has been affiliated with this institute, as they'll be listening to you, because you have been affiliated for the longest of the time. So, both of you can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult, I think, to pick one fond memory. I spent a lot of time with Ma'am Khadija, not just as a student, right? So I was a student, then I was a teacher as well. I used to be one of her first teaching assistants who you would trust with A-level economics, for example. So I had many different capacities, and in between all of that, in a lot of ways, I became part of a family for her, right? So it would be the very odd, casual visits to her house and having social activities, or dancing on her brother's wedding. Things like that. So I would say there's a lot of fond memories, but if I were to think about it, I can still feel her voice in my ears.
Yeah.
The moment she announced my result, and how her eyes would light up. She would be so happy
Yeah.
with your achievements that
Yeah.
you would be like, okay, I don't even think I'm that happy with my own achievements.
Biggest cheerleader, biggest cheerleader.
So I still remember her shouting at the top of her lungs. "Oh,
That which she would do so, lovingly.
clap for him.
Yeah.
So that's one of the fondest memories of her. And I've taken a lot of inspiration from her. As I keep saying, she was more than just a teacher, very much a mentor and a life coach who taught us a lot in terms of how to deal with things in life, both in times of hardship and in times of success, and how to sort of face difficulty with strength, motivation and courage, and how to, she was a marketing genius. She was an absolutely fantastic administrator. So the way she used to carry herself with confidence, I remember she used to give me a lot of confidence. And she would tell me, हो जाएगा, तुम कर लो. अब चाहे वो तिलावत करनी है बाकी या वो कहीं कॉन्सर्ट पे गवाना है, वो भी शायद आगे उसमें भी आ जाता था. And academically as well, she would put me up there and she would send me to, international events and all. So yeah, I owe a lot to her, and I just wish her family the best, and I wish the Roots family the best as well, because there's a lot of inspiration people can take from people like Khadija, one of a kind, absolutely in my view. And also, the people around you, just value each other more. The little things in life, you start valuing them more. You should. And also just take things a bit seriously. These are the very most the most important years of your life, I would say, for all of the students out there. Your sort of undergrad studies, your A-level studies, because they really shape your future.
Yes, because we're just like right around the corner for the fall session to start.
Right.
So a lot of A-level students and FSC students are about to take the decision of where to go, which would actually change their life. Yeah.
I think the other thing I would say is people need to be more vocal in seeking help.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, in my own experience as well, and a lot of people in that student phase go in their shell, and they're struggling with certain things, but they wouldn't talk about them, or they wouldn't raise the alarm bells if you had to, or reach out to someone more senior. So my doors are open, and I would be very happy to guide people. I love doing that. I still have a teacher in me who loves to sort of impart knowledge. And there are so many others like me. So we should really just look for that support and get help if we need.
So Fatma, as students are now about to take a decision to which university to choose for their undergrad, so like just a message from you, because you did your A-levels here and then you pursued, later on you got the scholarships through the Roots program. So what would you tell the students how to choose that? Like what to consider when they're trying to choose? Specifically, why not to be afraid for, coming up for an institute that is offering international degrees?
The reasons that I mentioned before, I think A, accessibility.
Yeah.
B, the economic environment in the world as well. Right now, unfortunately, we are again in that era where the 2007, 8, 9, where the global economic backdrop wasn't very entertaining. I must say that it wasn't very hopeful. And right now, I feel that whatever choices you are making, you should think about how the world politics is going about. Of course, I mean, America isn't doing that great at the moment. Europe, one of the reasons we have left UK as well is because things were looking not that good.
Okay.
So, I, of course, I would not discourage anybody from going outside, and if they want to pursue any degree that is, especially the universities are specialized in providing, world-class educations, and you want to go there and you have thought about it or dreamt about it. Of course, I'm not discouraged.
And you have the funds, yeah.
Grades and everything else, but I feel that just be very mindful about it, because the risk is great, because you're spending so much into it, and it's not just financial. It's a lot. You go through a lot. It's not all so rosy there. So we did. I think we had times where we absolutely broke down, living on your own, and absolutely being throttled around. It's a very difficult journey once you leave the house when you're 18 and you leave the house, you're living on your own, you're doing everything on your own, you're trying to make your parents proud as well, and you're trying to justify the money they're spending on you and the time that you're spending away from them. And yet I would still say that be very mindful about your choices. If you are leaving Pakistan, you should really be focused. Just don't go for the sake of going. In this economic background, if you are getting world-class education in Pakistan, I think it's a blessing. It's a huge blessing. You're very lucky that you have this campus and these degrees, that you can perhaps first graduate and then perhaps go think about masters maybe, because it kind of brings in more certainty in your career path, I'd say. But what Ma'am Khadija taught me very well is that no matter what, you will get somewhere. You just need to have that self-belief in yourself. When I remember, I used to sit with her in her office, and I used to listen to her talking to other students and talking to other parents. And it's just that you really need to believe in yourself, that you will get somewhere, and do not underestimate yourself. You make 3 plan A's. There should be 3 plan A's in your head. This is my plan A. This is also my plan A. Don't believe in plan A's. Make 3 plan A's, and if you are able to achieve one of them, you've succeeded.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Thank you so much. That was an amazing advice, and I think a lot of students can.
Oh, and I want to tell everyone that you're very lucky to be here, because even if for the students who have not met Ma'am Khadija, unfortunately, she has trained her people around her or imparted her learnings or her genetics onto them in a way that they will take care of you and they will not leave you alone. They will make sure that you get somewhere, and the love and the togetherness that we experience in Roots, I think it's unmatchable. The whole, wherever, and also that a huge, something that I love, absolutely love about myself is that wherever I go, I meet Roots. You know?
Yeah.
Wherever I've been in London, Dubai, I've been in Canada, I've been in Riyadh now, and I was in Germany before that. You meet Rootsians everywhere.